Stop. I said, stop. That's you, yes. You. The listener. I want you to stop. I want you to stop moving. I want you to stop breathing. See how long you can hold your breath. Are you doing it? Are you holding your breath? Can you feel the nagging feeling calling on you to open your mouth and inhale? Can you resist it? Do you see how unnatural it is? Breathing is what keeps you inside this world. It is something your body does without thought, without command. You have to force yourself to stop doing it, and it gets more and more difficult to do so. Your entire body screams at you to open your mouth and inhale. Your mind reminding you again and again, pulling you like gravity down. Again and again, until you can't think of anything except taking that breath. Your own body and mind want you to suck in the air that keeps you where your mind and body want you to be, where they think you should be. Can you resist them? What if they're wrong? That is what it feels like. Feel an itch? Don't scratch it. It's an odd thing, isn't it? Here is a function of your body to tell you when there is something wrong. It will tell you when something is happening to your skin. It will warn you when insects are crawling, ready to bite and spread poison into your body. It will tell you when your skin becomes infected and you rot while still alive. It can save you 1,000 times and warn you of danger 1,000,000 more. And yet, it is so easily deceived. Most of the time, it's for nothing. Can you be certain that it will work when you need it? What if the insect infects you so that you can't feel it? What if your eyes then deceive you as part of the insect's poison so that you can't see it, and it will continue inside of you? What if it is happening right now? Feel the itch yet? Such a fickle thing, isn't it? All I have to do is mention it, and chances are that you felt it. It's in your mind. I bet it's nagging at you now, demanding your attention. Even if you know it's almost guaranteed that there is nothing there, that the odds against it being an insect in your skin are 1,000 to 1. Your body still demands you to do it to be sure. It is always better to be sure. That is what it feels like. Can you resist it? If not, I can't blame you. Then again, it means you can't blame me for what I did either. Still holding your breath? Did you manage to resist the urge for that long? If you didn't, I can't blame you. You gave in to the constant nagging feeling that you must do something. But if that is so, then you can't blame me for what I did either, or for what they say I did. If you are still holding your breath, let me ask you, are you conscious? Are you sure? If you are unconscious, would you know it? You may very well have passed out from lack of air. Your mind would shut you down, but it wouldn't let you know you've shut down. It would tell you were awake. It would make you dream, show you images, and play you sounds that you can't tell from reality. Drowning men think they're on land. Unconscious boxers think they're still fighting. Men spend years in comas, their minds telling them they're in another place, in another time, and they have no way to tell the difference. So, let me ask again, are you conscious? And if you are certain the answer is yes, let me ask you, are you a fool? Or a liar? If you're a liar, who are you lying to? Me? yourself. You may breathe now if you haven't already. If you are reading this, if you are hearing this, it means that it exists within whichever world your mind tells you you are in. If you suffocate your mind, this may no longer be true. Before it happened, I had a room to myself in an old apartment building. Everything was perfect. The walls were painted in a solid dark blue color. There was one window kept constantly shut, and the blinds closed. There were no paintings on the walls, they would only clutter it. To the immediate right of the door was a perfectly clean small fridge, sink, and stove that served as my kitchen. All the food was arrayed in perfect lines in their proper place, so I always knew where they were. To the immediate left of the door was a perfectly straight line of shoes in front of a closet where my clothes were hung in the proper order. There was a narrow bed in the far left corner, always properly made. There was a nightstand with a dim lamp beside it, the only light I needed. And in the right corner was a door that led to a simple functional bathroom. Everything was perfectly organized, perfectly placed, and perfectly straight. Even my name was written above the door in perfect lettering. It was everything I needed. Every night, I would make sure it was perfect. I would check the fridge, seeing everything in its proper place. I would touch everything inside to see if I could feel them. Then I would close my eyes and do the same, in case my eyes were lying and my hands believed them. I'd check my clothes and my shoes lined up perfectly in the closet. Again, I'd see them, then touch them, then repeat the process with my eyes closed, and if I could ensure that they were always in the exact right place, in the perfect straight lines each time, I could be certain they were there. I'd check everything the same way. My TV stand, my bathroom, my bed. The lock on my door must always be locked, and the window must always be shut so that nothing can come in to disturb the perfection of my room. And I would finish by going around the room, tapping on all the walls. Tap, tap, tap. I'd make sure that my hands and ears always agreed with my eyes. My hands must stop where my eyes said the wall was. My ears must hear the sound. Then I would do the same thing again with my eyes closed. I'd turn off the light and turn it on again, lest it light up a different room than the one I was in before. I would check everything again, and if they were all the same, I could sleep. After this, I couldn't touch anything but the bed. If I turned on the light, it may create a different room, and I'd have to check it again. If I knocked something over, it may not land where it was supposed to, and I would have to check to see that it was there where my eyes told me it was. If I kept going, I could never stop. There were times when I would spend days on end going over everything again and again and again and again and again. Each time something new would happen, something would change, and I'd have to start again. Some people told me I had a problem. He took me to see a doctor, and he tried to get me to stop, but how could I? It was like breathing. I didn't do it because I wanted to, no. I did it because I had to. If I didn't think of it, my body would do it on its own. I'd have to order it not to. If I tried to order it to stop, then the feeling would grow inside until I simply had to do it. Nothing else could get done. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even breathe unless I knew the room was real. Or it was like the itch. It was nagging me, telling me something was wrong. I may be almost certain the room was there, but could I ever be completely certain? Even if it was 1,000,000,000 to 1 that the room existed, did it not make sense to check just one more time, to make it 1,000,000,001 to 1? Does not the horror of having been deceived by your own senses outweigh the moments it takes to tap on the wall? So you see, I had no choice but to continue doing it, as you now have no choice but to breathe or to feel an itch. If I could check, then I could be that much more sure that everything was there, and then I could rest. Everything was perfect, everything in its right place. But then it came in. It had to come, wreck my perfect existence. It began with a noise. It came down the hall one day to the room beside mine. It let out ceaseless whining sounds that were so high I was sure it would make my ears bleed. It sounded like a broken trumpet some fool still tried to play thinking he was making music. The sound was awful, grating, burning into my ears and wrecking my concentration. Tell me, how could I properly survey my room with that unending drone? It was disgusting. It was a massive, soft thing that moved slowly and in a swaying fashion. It had a brown, moss-like mass of hair growing down its head that hung down its body in a mangled mess. It was covered with spots and constantly stunk of sweat. And what's more was that it mocked me. It disagreed with my ways and tried to change my reality. When I wasn't looking, it would come into my room to move things. It would take them out of order and put them in the wrong place. Oh, it claimed it didn't touch them, but I knew it was lying. Just imagine all that work I had done, all the effort I had made to keep everything real, and it could ruin it in seconds. I would try to force it out, but it was bigger than me, and I couldn't budge it. And finally it would leave, and I would lock the doors, checking again and again to ensure it was locked. No fewer than 50 times would I turn the lock to make sure that that thing would not come back, but somehow it always did. But it didn't stop there. Even when it was outside my room, it could still influence it. I tried to sleep. I checked all the objects, all the clothes, the food, the furniture, the lock, the window, my bed, all the walls, and everything else, and went to sleep. And it started again with its noise. The same droning, whining, irritating sound that was constantly emitted from it came into my room. That noise it used to mock me, to laugh at me as it ruined everything I did. It woke me up, and I knew it had changed something. But what was more was that it was too close. I knew how big my room was. I knew how big its room was. There was no way the sound could have been coming from where I heard it. Something was wrong. I checked everything again, going over everything twice, 4 times, 5 times, just like all the others. It wasn't my choice. I didn't want to check. I had to check. My mind and body made me. I ensured everything was there and slept again, and the sound came again. I checked everything over 12 times. Everything was there, and I slept. And again it came, and again I checked everything. And something changed. I went around the room, tapping on the walls. Tap, tap, tap. I hit every wall where I should have, where my eyes told me they were. Then, to check everything, I closed my eyes and reached forward. And hit nothing. My hand went straight through where the wall should have been, where my eyes had told me it was. I opened my eyes, reached out again, and hit the wall. Closed them, reached out, and hit nothing. I tried again. I didn't want to. I wanted to go back to the calm and quiet world I lived in, where everything was certain. But I couldn't. It wasn't my choice, any more than it's your choice to breathe. I closed my eyes, reached out, and hit nothing. I stood staring for what seemed like hours, trying to understand what had just happened. In 100 million trials, never had my eyes and my hands disagreed with each other, but now, on the 100 million and first, they were wrong. Even a 1 in a million chance will occur eventually, and I had hit that number. The wall was there, and it wasn't. Eyes open it was, and eyes closed it simply was not. The sound was right behind the wall when my eyes were open. It was too close. It didn't make sense with what my eyes told me. When my eyes were closed, the wall wasn't there, and the sound made sense. Perhaps this was how it entered my room. So the sound existed. But it was changing my reality. It had interfered with my room and forced me to check everything again and again and again and again. I closed my eyes and reached through the wall. Or more, I reached through where I had once thought the wall to be. I didn't want to. I wanted to say no, but my mind wouldn't let me. My mind wanted me to reach forward, like it once wanted me to breathe or to itch. And I obeyed. I found the source of the noise behind where the wall used to be, if it ever had existed. I had found it. The thing that produced the relentless, irritating sound that forced me to check everything again and again, and then mocked my efforts. I had to stop the noise. I could not stop it. Even if I resisted, my body kept commanding that I do so, and I gave in. Like you gave in to the need to breathe or to itch, I gave in to the need to stop that ceaseless noise. Oh, I knew. I knew what I was doing. I knew full well what would happen. I knew the world I had lived in had told me it was wrong to kill, but now I knew that was wrong. Maybe it would die, but who's to say if this one insignificant thing even existed? I grabbed hold of the source of the noise. It was soft, and I realized I could easily break it and stop it from producing that irritating whine. My mind told me to squeeze, and I squeezed, trying to shut it off. It struggled against me, but it was futile. Its reality wasn't my reality, and I had control over my reality. I had control over my world. In my reality, I was all-powerful. It could not resist me. I squeezed until I heard a crack. Soon the noise stopped and left me in peace. I backed away and opened my eyes, restoring the wall to where it was before. I went to sleep, finally able to rest safely, knowing the truth of my existence. This is when the other world ceased to be that fake world, that lie that my eyes had told me was no longer there. I no longer needed to check everything, to tap things to see if they were real. I knew they weren't. I had found the truth. The old world stopped, the old time stopped, and now that the old world is gone, now that it has stopped, now because its time no longer affects me, I am in the real world, and I am no longer deceived. Now, I'm out of my room. Now I am gone. Now I am in the real world, and I do as I please, change what I want, and don't have to worry over the reality of my existence anymore. Every so often I'm forced back out of my world. People force me back to then, back to the old time, the old, fake world. They give me pills to deceive my senses. They talk to me and tell me things that are lies. They tell me that I am crazy. And then I'm in their world again with their time and their lies. A fake world where I once lived in my own room, then in a room they put me in with padded walls and chains in that time, when I was called a madman, a criminal. But how could I be a criminal? It never existed anyway. It was simply a figment of my imagination that I chose to end. And when they would force me into that world, I would be deceived only for a moment. All I would need to do is shut my eyes and reach forward toward the wall. When I feel nothing, I know for certain the wall is not there, and I return to my own reality. Here I know that the world they want me to be in does not exist. They are insane and force me to take things which make me insane as well. The pills deceived my eyes for a moment, but I am too strong for that. If they try it again, I will gouge them out. Those lying orbs that have tried to deceive me into thinking my world is fake and theirs is real. And now I no longer have to worry about that. Maybe they lived there, but I live only in my own world. My eyes can no longer deceive me. My ears can no longer hear their lies. They are there to deceive me, but I know better. I know better. I know what is fake and what is not. I know what is truth. I know what is real. And my world is real.